Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're back with the next installment of Warhammer the Horus Heresy Liber Astartes. This time we're taking a look at the Blood Angels. So, the goal behind these reviews, of course, is to help you to discover the Space Marine Legion in the Horus Heresy that fits you, give you some insight into how they play, and what their special rules and rites of war are for building your own company, and obviously give you an idea of what you might want to collect from all the cool new models that are coming out. So the Blood Angels, of course, historically speaking, are a more aggressive assault force, although they can use the combined arms of things like Legion tactical squads and bolters and stuff like that to also make an impact. But their Legion special trait in Carmine Fury is basically giving you a big old bonus to melee. All models with this special rule require one lower result to wound than they normally would, to a minimum of 2+. On any turn in which they are part of a successful charge against an enemy unit, even if they are disordered. The effect applies regardless of the weapon they're using. For example, a strength 4 melee weapon attacking a target with toughness 4, the Blood Angel would require a 3+ to wound rather than 4+. In addition, any vehicle with the Blood Angel special rule that makes a ram attack is getting +1 strength to a maximum of 10. So, it doesn't do anything when you're shooting your gun, but when you're fighting in melee, +1 wound's a big deal. And it's actually an even bigger deal than +1 strength, because it means that certain strength bands, when you're comparing strength versus toughness, you're wounding better than you normally would. Because there's a couple of steps of 5 and a couple of steps of 6, so taking that down a level can be a huge deal. It also means that anyone who's just higher strength than the target they're attacking is going to be wounding on 2s. Which for a lot of things is a lot. It doesn't do anything against armored vehicles, obviously, but with so many armored vehicles like Dreadnoughts and things like jet bikes and land speeders going to having a toughness value, that can be a huge deal for assaulting them as well. So you gain that, of course, the usual stuff, Panoply of the Angels, you get all their unique war gear, and Children of Baal, they can have a Warlord trait from the Blood Angels Warlord traits. Your advanced reaction, so once per game you can make this reaction in addition to any other reactions you're eligible to take. This advanced reaction may be made once per battle during the opposing player's shooting phase, when any enemy player declares a shooting attack targeting a unit composed entirely of models with the infantry unit type and the Blood Angel special rule under the reactive player's control. All models in that unit targeted by the shooting attack that triggers the reaction gain Shrouded 5+ against all wounds inflicted as part of that shooting attack that triggered the reaction. So if the reacting unit has a version of Shrouded already, it doesn't stack or increase that rule. And the reacting player may choose to use any one of the Shroud rules available to them. Once the shooting attack has been completely resolved, the reacting unit can make a charge declared, and following all the normal rules for charging, the enemy unit that made the shooting attack. So the enemy unit may not make a reaction to this charge, and it's fully resolved immediately after it's declared. If it's successful, the units are locked in combat and fighting the assault phase as normal, with the charging benefit unit benefiting from any charge bonuses. So basically, if someone shoots you, you get shrouded, and on top of that, you can make a charge afterwards. So basically an enhanced version of Kissing the Dirt to gain shrouded, or evade rather. Which of course, as you're an aggressive army, means you tend to get there and then you tend to fight on your opponent's turn. Alright, Warlord traits. You have 3 that you can choose from. One is Loyalist only, but one is Traitor. So interestingly enough, a lot like the, the White Scars, you have a moment of weakness over the course of the Horus Heresy, and there's a little Traitor kind of like specialist almost army that you can take using this Warlord trait. So the Encarmine Paladin is your Loyalist one. A Warlord of this trait gains the Fear 1 special rule when fighting armies with the Traitor allegiance. So basically you've proven yourself worthy. Whenever a Warlord with this trait is on the winning side of a combat in which the Lord was engaged against models with at least one model with the Traitor allegiance, he increases the fear value of a special rule by 1 point until the end of the assault phase in which the combat's won, to a maximum of 4. So, for instance, a Warlord with this trait in Fear 1 special rule is locked in combat with an enemy with the Traitor allegiance and wins the combat. His Fear's result would be increased to Fear 2 at the end of the assault phase. In addition, an army whose Warlord has this trait may make an additional reaction during the opponent player's assault phase. So basically, way more morale stacking penalties at the end of a combat when you're fighting in morale, which of course combines with your basic bonuses to morale anyway. So more chances to make them run and run them down. Paragon of Unity, any friendly unit made up entirely of models with the Legion of Astartes Blood Angel special rule that can draw line of sight to a Warlord with this trait, to any model in a unit that this Warlord has joined, or to any model that is engaged in combat with this Warlord, gains a maximum of +1 of their leadership to a maximum of 10. In addition, you get an extra reaction during the opposing player's assault phase unless you're removed as a casualty. And then finally, Thrall of the Red Thirst. Now, there was a big conspiracy to try and make all the Blood Angels fall to the Red Thirst and turn Sanguinius himself into the Red Angel, basically, make him fall to Khorne. If at the start of the controlling player's charge subphase, there's any enemy units with at least one model within 12 of a Warlord with this trait, or any model in a unit this Warlord is joined, and the Warlord and any unit he is joined are eligible to make a charge, then you must charge. If there's more than one potential target for the Warlord's controlling target, the player can select which one would be the target of the charge. Whenever this Warlord and any unit he's joined make a successful charge that is not disordered, the Warlord and all other models gain +2 attacks instead of the normal +1. In addition, you get an extra reaction in the opponent's movement phase unless you're removed as a casualty. So you're basically just a frenzied murder machine. And then Rites of War, you're going to get 2 that you have access to. You get the Day of Revelation. So the effects of this one: at the start of the battle, before any models are deployed, or which player will take the first turn is decided, the controlling player of a detachment using this Rite of War must declare to their opponent a turn numbered 2 to 4, indicating on which turn they will bring their Deep Striking Assault into play. Then the controlling player places a marker anywhere in the battlefield, indicating the point where the Deep Striking Assault will be placed. So basically, you call it beforehand. This is where I'm coming down. A Deep Striking Assault, which includes only units from an attachment using this Rite of War, does not make reserve rolls to see when they enter play. They just show up. They announce themselves from the heavens. In addition, the first model placed to determine where the Deep Strike arrives must be placed within 6 inches of the marker placed in the battlefield and does not scatter. If the first model cannot be placed within one different enemy unit, the controlling player may choose to place it anywhere in the battlefield. So you can't zone out where you call down. All units from an attachment using this Rite of War that are deployed into the battlefield normally and are not placed in reserves gain the Fearless special rule until the controlling player's second turn. So basically, you're fearless on the board and you call out when your reinforcements are arriving. And then your limitations: compulsory HQ choices using this Rite of War must be made up entirely of models with the Legion Warhawk jump packs. So basically, you have to be a deep striking unit. All units that are made up entirely of models with the Deep Strike special rule and a detachment using this Rite of War must be assigned the Deep Strike Assault, and a detachment using this Rite of War may not take any fortifications or movement 0 or dash units, unless or that is otherwise unable to move unless it also has the Orbital Assault special rule. So you can take drop pods. And a veteran or a detachment using this Rite of War may not use the Subterranean Assault special rule. So basically, everybody's going to be in drop pods if you can. Or jump packs, and you're going to try and arrive. Anybody who's not is fearless on the table. So it's like the reinforcement arrives. And your other Rite of War is the Day of Sorrows. An attachment using this Rite of War must select Crimson Paladin, may select Crimson Paladin units as non-compulsory troop choices, and they all gain the line subtypes. They all count as scoring. And all models in attachment using this Rite of War that are made up entirely of models with the infantry unit subtype and Legion Astartes Blood Angel special rule gain the Stubborn special rule when they're at least 6 inches of an objective. If they already have Stubborn or Fearless special rules, then they gain no further benefit. And when any enemy unit made up entirely of models with the infantry unit type and Blood Angel special rule, which are part of an attachment which use this Rite of War, is reduced to 50% or less, starting number of models, the remaining models gain Heart of the Legion and Hatred Everything special rule and the Line subtype. So as soon as all your units go below half, they count as scoring, hate everyone, and gain Heart of Allegiance. They get a 6+, feel no pain, and Fearless next to objectives. That is an amazing, amazing special rule. And that'll last for the remainder of the battle. So pretty amazing. That's all your infantry. Limitations: in any combat that includes one or more models with the character subtype from an attachment using this Rite of War, the controlling player must issue and accept challenges. Where possible, the controlling player chooses which character does so, if more than one is eligible. Any unit, that means even your sergeants have to issue challenges. Any unit made up entirely of models with the infantry or cavalry type, special rule that are part of attachment using this Rite of War and that have been reduced to 50% or less, must declare a charge at the closest enemy unit if they are capable. So they basically freak out and go frenzied at the end of it all. So it's like you're starting to get casualties and you're starting to succumb to the Red Thirst. And then, of course, you have to try and charge. No units from this attachment using this Rite of War may be assigned to Deep Strike, Subterranean Assault, or Flanking Assaults. You're basically the forlorn hope when you make this one. And then your Armory, Fires of Heaven. It's a Melta weapon, Inferno pistol, 6-inch range, strength 8, AP 1, pistol 1 armor bane, so you get access to Melta pistol basically. It's one of your technological things that you liked. Perdition weapons are all your power and flame weapons. Sorry, they all count as power and flame weapons for some reason. Your Blade of Perdition, and it's all, you can exchange a power weapon for any of these. Any model with Legion of Strays Blood Angel special rule and the character subtype may exchange a power weapon for a perdition weapon. So Blade of Perdition, +1 strength AP3, melee 2-handed, rending 6+, and brutal 2. So all these weapons do 2 wounds per hit, which is crazy. Axe of Perdition, +2 strength AP2, melee unwieldy, 2-handed, brutal 2. Spear of Perdition, +1 AP3, melee reach 1, 2-handed, brutal 2. And then Maul of Perdition, +3 strength AP3, melee 2-handed, brutal 2. The Maul and the Blade are probably the best because they're not unwieldy. Yeah. Are all 2-handed, they're all murderously good in melee. The Elastus Assault Cannon is the same as the other assault cannons that I previously described in other things, but basically it's an old school assault cannon. You can give it to anyone that can have a heavy flamer can have an Elastus Assault Cannon, so all of your Terminator squads with heavy flamers can have one. And it's any model in the infantry type, so not your vehicles. A Legion Predator can exchange its turret-mounted Predator Cannon for a twin Elastus Assault Cannon, which is a very classic Battle Predator. And any model of the Dreadnought or vehicle unit type and Legion of Strays Blood Angel special rule can exchange Heavy Flamer for an Elastus Assault Cannon for 20 points. And it's Assault 4, rending 6+, malfunction. When you're using a reaction, it gets hot, basically, when you're shooting with it. And it's Assault 4 and rending 6+. All right, the Primark, the Winged Angel himself, Sanguinius, 485 points. This guy is very consistent, of course, incredibly good in melee and very fast. He's movement 8, and he does have wings that can do other things, the Great Wings. But he's movement 8, weapon skill 8, and then 6s across the board, all through wounds, initiative, and attacks. So he's not actually that fast, weirdly enough. Leadership 10, 2+ save. He has the Regalia Resplendent, which is his armor. He has a 2+ armor, 4+ invul, which can reroll the first one that's failed. Any failed invulnerable saves made on a turn which Sanguinius charges can be rerolled, which is amazing. So keep him charging, and he's rerolling all his invuls. The Blading Carmine, which is his sword. It's +1 strength, so he's strength 7, AP2, melee, rage 2, so when he charges he's got 8 attacks, rampage 2, murderous strike, and then shred and mastercrafted. Rampage 2, I think, is if he gets charged, he also gets +2 attacks. So basically, any turn he's charging or getting charged, he is bonus attacking and having 8 attacks. So it's basically his ongoing fight is the only time he's not rolling 8 dice to murder you. Yeah, because I think Rampage is... Oh, if they're numbered, sorry, is Rampage. That's right. So he's fighting more than one guy, which he's a Primarch, he probably is. And he gets both those, so you'd have 10 attacks, actually. At the start of any sub-fight phase, models with this Rampage special will gain a number of extra attacks in the brackets if they're outnumbered by the enemy. So sorry, yeah, he's going to get Rage and... so you'll have 10 attacks on the charge, basically, when fighting a unit that outnumbers him. And then, of course, Murder Strike 2, Shred, Mastercrafted. So he's rerolling failed roasted wounds, so the lower strength's not terrible. And then he's got the Infernus, which is his Melta Pistol. 18-inch range, strength 8, AP1, Assault 2, Armor Bane, Melta in one shot. You only get to fire it once. And Frag Grenades. Now, he has the option of taking the Spear of Telesto and the Moonsilver Blade instead. The Spear of Telesto is strength 10, melee 2-handed, mastercrafted lance, Exoshock 4+, which is crazy good. And once per battle, he can also throw it instead of shooting with it, and then he can't make melee attacks with it anymore. It's range 12, strength 10, AP1, assault 1, Exoshock 4+, instant death lance. So he just wants to like kill somebody with it. And then his Moonsilver Blade is just user strength, AP2, melee, mastercrafted, blind, duelist edge 1, and Moonsilver. Moonsilver is any unsaved wounds caused by a model with the demon or psyker subtype count as 2 wounds. So very good at killing, I don't know, giant bloodthirsters. Wounds caused in excess of the remaining wounds do not spill over in other models. Then he's Primarch, obviously, so it will not die, fearless, all that stuff. He has Master Legion, bulky 6, Angelic Presence, which is any friendly units that are locked in combat and have at least one model within 6 of Sanguinius, as well as Sanguinius, and any units he's joined may add +1 to the total number of wounds caused when resolving who won a combat. His Great Wings, at the start of the controlling player's movement phase, or when deployed as part of a deep strike, Sanguinius' movement characteristic may be set to a value of 14 for the duration of the controlling player's turn. This allows Sanguinius to move to 14 inches regardless of the movement characteristic shown in his profile, and gain any other benefits to movement characteristic 14, including the charge bonus. In addition, he can move over impassable terrain, vertical terrain, or friendly and enemy models and units, but can't end within one of an enemy. If Sanguinius ends his movement or charge in dangerous terrain, he has to make a roll. It treats all difficult terrain as dangerous. Sanguinius can still run on a turn in which his wings have been activated when making a run move. Add Sanguinius' initiative value to his movement characteristic of 14, determine how far he can go. And he can, and while making a run move with activated rings, but may not make shooting attacks or declare a charge in the same turn. Sanguinius' wings may not be activated to gain any bonus to his movement characteristic during a reaction. Then he can deep strike, he's a loyalist, and of course he has Sire of the Blood Angels, his Warlord trait. All friendly models with the Blood Angel special rule in the same army as Sanguinius will either deploy as part of a deep strike assault or any other deployment, or have a Legion Warhawk jump pack, add +1 weapon skill on any turn they make a successful charge. So all your deep strikers and anyone who gets a charge with a jump pack gets +1 weapon skill. So +1 weapon skill and +1 to wound. In addition, an army with Sanguinius' Warlord can make an additional reaction in the movement phase as long as he's still alive. So, I mean, we're talking about a very fast, very melee-oriented. He doesn't hit like a ton of bricks, but he has a lot of attacks, very good at shredding individual models, and if you do want to go up and fight against Chaos and Demons and stuff, then the Spear of Telesto and the Moonsilver Blade will be a legitly terrifying, you know, like pair. Although the Blade and Carmine with Rage 2, Rampage 2, Murderous Strike, 5+, Shred, and Mastercrafted are still pretty great. All right, elite choices. A Dawnbreaker Cohort. So this is going to be a Falling Star Pattern Power Sphere, Artificer Armor, Warhawk Jump Pack unit. It's kind of like the old Sanguinary Guard, basically, for you know, Horus Heresy. Weapon skill 5, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and 2+ save with their Artificer Armor. Standard sort of like Legionary profile otherwise, except for enhanced leadership. Their Power Sphere is +1 Strength, AP3, Melee, Reach 1, and Rending 5+. Of course, Reach is going to give you Initiative bonus, I believe. Oh, it's not in the core rulebook. It is a special rule in this book. So Reach X. Adds the X value to its initiative characteristic. If model has more than one weapon in the special rule, they only increase it by the one that they pick. So all effectively initiative 5 and running 5+. Grenade dischargers, these little combat grenade launchers, they have frag and crack bombs. So the frag ones are assault 3, pinning, strength 3, AP 6. The crack ones are strength 6, AP 4, assault 1. Frag grenades, artificer armor, and a jump pack. They are not line, of course, but they're unit leaders of character, and they have Furious Charge +1 and Set the Sky aflame. When a unit composed entirely of models of special rule is deployed as part of a deep strike assault, any enemy within 6 of their final position suffer -1 leadership when taking pinning tests caused by the deep strike assault, because you have to take a pin test when you arrive by deep strike now. Get 5 extra models. You can buy an Equinox Power Blade case, and the entire model can take Melt-A-Bombs or Power Weapon and Perdition Weapons for free. So you can trade in your spear if you want. The Blade case is a pair of melee weapons, each with a different profile. So the Sunrise Blade is Strength User, Marie and +1 to wound, AP3, Melee, Shred, Sudden Strike 1, and the Sunset Blade is Melee, Rending 5+, and Sunder. All right, Crimson Paladins are your Cataphractii Terminator armor guys with big spears. They have power weapons, Coriolis power shields, and the Coriolis power shield is reduce all rolls to wound made to target a model with this power shield by in melee by 1. So basically, you're -1 to wound rolls when you're attacking these guys. They have just regular power weapons, but you can of course upgrade those to be Sunset Blades. So you can have 7 extra Paladins. They can all take Sunset Blades instead of power weapons, which are Rending 5+ Sunder, and then User Strength AP3. You can, for every 5 models, take a Assault Cannon, Heavy Flamer, or Plasma Blaster. Up to 2 guys can have Power Fists or Chain Fists. And you can take a Perdition Weapon on your Exemplar, or a Grenade Harness too. The special rule is The Blood is Forever, and they've got Stubborn, Deep Strike, Bulky 2, Relentless as well. Again, they're heavy, so they're rerolling field rolls doing against templates. While locked in combat with a unit that outnumbers them, a Crimson Paladin unit gains Feel No Pain 5+. If outnumbered twice or more, then they get 4+. Remember, these are like enhanced Terminators, so weapon skill 5, 2 wounds each, 2 attacks, leadership 10. Any model of the independent character special rule that joins this squad does not gain this special rule and does not count for purposes of determining if they're outnumbered. Each Crimson Paladin and Crimson Exemplars counts as 2 models as they have the Bulky 2 special rule. And likewise, any enemy model with a variant of Bulky would count as that many rules too. If locked in combat with more than 1 enemy unit, add the size of all enemy units together to decide if they're outnumbered or not. So they're very stubborn. The Angel's Tears, Heirloom and Arch Heirloom. So these are the sort of silver deathmasked guys. They are heavy infantry. They have 3+ armor saves. They have 2 Volkite Serpentis, chainswords, rad grenades, frag grenades, crack grenades, power armor, and jump packs. 150 points. Or no, sorry. Or am I thinking of the... no, that's them. That's the Angel's Tears, the Heirloom. They can take up to 5 extra Heirloom. They can buy grenade launchers, heavy flamers, assault cannons, rotor cannons, and heavy chainswords as their upgrades. And the Marines have 2 attacks, effectively. A bit of enhanced leadership, too. The Arch Heirloom can take a heavy chainsword and stuff. And they have counterattack 1, stubborn, and bitter duty. So they're kind of like destroyer squads for Blood Angels. You can't join them if you don't have bitter duty. But you can join them with Zafon. And they get an Angel Tears grenade launcher, 24-inch range, strength 4, AP 4, assault 3, rad phage, and Flushbane. So minus toughness if you're wounded by it, and Flushbane to always wound on 2s. So if you're not a vehicle, they are very good at hurting you. And you can have how many of those? You can have 10, you can have... Any model unit can exchange its Volkite Serpenta for it. So you could have just a unit of 5 guys with those grenade launchers, no big deal. And then you get your jump pack Dreadnought, because of course you do. You're the Blood Angels, you have to have a jump pack Dreadnought. The Contemptor Incendius Dreadnought for 200 points. It's movement 8, weapon skill, skill 5+, strength up to 7, wound 6. It's basically standard Contemptor, 3 attacks, 2+ save. It has an automatic defender, but it has an Incendius booster pack. But its only weapon options are you can change one of your 2 power fists, because you have 2 fists with built-in heavy flamers. You can change one for a meltagun or an assault cannon. Have built-in assault cannons. And then you can also replace both your talons with a Gravis Power Fist with built-in Heavy Flamer if you want to. So your talons of perdition are user strength, but they have shred and brutal too, which is legit. And then you're basically able to choose one of the 2 following for your booster pack. You can either choose to deep strike or shock assault. You can set your movement to 12 and gain Hammer Wrath 2, and basically move over terrain and stuff as well. Note that any Contemptor Incendius selected as part of a Day of Revelation Rites of War must use deep strike option and maybe assign the deep strike assault. So a very cool 200-point fast attack deep striking Dreadnought. Then we got Dominion Zafon. This guy's the guy who gets all his arms and legs chopped off during the Great Crusade and eventually makes friends with Land when they're in the Webway War with the Custodes to get his legs back, and they rebuild him better, faster, stronger with a jump pack. He's the sort of super Praetor that you've got access to, weapon skill 6, and no extra wounds though, but there's a reason for that because his body's mostly metal. 4 attacks though. He's got Artificer Armor, the Spiritum Sanguis, which is his cool sword, +1 strength AP 2, melee 2-handed, reaping below 1, so if he's outnumbered he gets a bonus attack. Or in base-to-base with 2 more models, and Master Crafted. And then he's also got the Lamented Grief, his 2 Volkite pistols, strength 5, AP 5, pistol 3, Deflagrate and Blind. Crack grenades, rad grenades, melta bombs, frag grenades, and a Warhawk jump pack. He's an independent character, Relentless, Master Legion, Furious Charge 1 for an extra attack. Bitter Duty, so you can join that previously mentioned squad. Stubborn, Paragon of Restoration. He gets Feel No Pain 5+, and when he dies for the first time on a 4+, he comes back with 1 wound. And then finally he's a Loyalist, and Exarch of the High Host. If Dominion Zephon's the Army's Warlord, then a Legion Destroyer Assault Squad may be selected as a retinue as part of the same HQ choice. It's considered a retinue squad and doesn't count as any HQ choices. They must be deployed with Zafon to play as part of the unit, and Dominion Zafon may not voluntarily leave it during play. All models not gain the Chosen Warrior special rules to get issue challenges, and if it's selected, then no other unit may be selected for Dominion as a retinue special rule. In addition, an army with Zafon as a Warlord can make an additional reaction during the assault phase as long as he's alive. And then it's Chapter Master Raul Duran. Raul Duran, the first captain. He is weapon skill 7, blitz skill 5. He's a super big hero. 3 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks. He's got his Artificer Armor and the Encarmine Warblade, +1 strength AP 2, melee, Master Grafted Shred, and Murderous Strike 5+. Basically a super Paragon weapon. Iron Halo, Frag and Crack Grenades, Bolt Pistol, and a Combi Flamer. He's Relentless, independent character, Master Legion, Furious Charge 2, and his Warlord trait is the Archine of Wisdom, and he's a Loyalist. If you selected as your army's Warlord, then his Warlord trait may be selected from the core Warlord traits or from any Legion-specific Warlord trait from any of the following legions, counting as though Raul Duran and all other models are Blood Angels for the purpose of that. So he can choose a Warlord trait from White Scars, Imperial Fists, Space Wolves, Ultramarines, Iron Hands, Raven Guard, and Salamanders. This does not include any warlord traits available to any other specific named characters or warlord traits that require the trait or allegiance to be selected. So basically, he's so wise and so learned, and he's learned so much from the other legions, he can use their warlord traits, which is bananas, for 180 points. So decently fighty, kind of generic, no, you know, like special like jump pack or anything like that, but very wise. And there it is, the lovely gold and black and red armor of the Blood Angels in the Horus Heresy. Really still hoping for that Leviathan to come out in plastic. Beautiful color section, Blade and Carmine Sanguinius, and then some of your special characters. There's Dominion Zafon. I'm excited to paint that model at some point. There's your Dawnbreakers. There's your Arch Heirloom and Heirloom, but with the cool like mini jump packs, as opposed to the big jump packs. And then the Contemptor and Candius with his actual jump pack, which is so cool. And there's Raul Duran, which has a model from whatchamacallit. I like his mohawk, but he's got a model from Forge World. And that's it. So on to the 10th Legion, the Iron Hands next. Big thanks for watching. If you are looking to grab a heavy assault army that's a bit more balanced maybe than the Space Wolves are, not so totally geared towards assault, although most of their special rules are going to get you into assault, they will do some up close range shooting and stuff too, and they feature lots of jump packs, and the ability to deep strike, of course, is a big thing, with like a relief force on the or relief force coming down to like save a force on the table. The Blood Angel is probably for you. Red's also super fun to paint. I'll be honest, red and gold, I've done several armies that way. My Legio Metallum, or my House Metallum for my Imperial Knights I did with that, and they're really fun. And the nice thing is, too, the Blood Angels are at the Siege of Terra. So if you decide you want to go all the way to the end of the Heresy, they're there at the beginning, they have their weird freak out and almost fall to chaos, and then they're there at the end when it all goes down and Horus fights the Emperor. So a great choice for Horus Heresy, and of course fun and versatile on the battlefield. And yeah, we'll see you for the next one, the Iron Hands. Till then, Ash, have a good one. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.